Let's do it. Hello, hello. Good to see everybody. As you know, I'm Xavier, the relationship coach. And much love to all of you and everybody that's here. You know what it's time for? Let me know where you are from, and we'll go ahead and get started with talking to everybody. The dating field is a mess. It's still a mess after all these years that I've been doing this. And I want to tell you something. I want to tell you ladies something as you jump on to here. I want to tell you that you have so much power, right? And I don't mean to say that you're more powerful or anything. I mean that I meet a lot of ladies as clients that feel like they have to operate from a place of survival. So if this resonates with you, then I'm talking to you. It's understandable that a lot of us have been let down. A lot of us have been told something that was a lie. And now we feel like if we don't hold things up, no one will. And a lot of these people were potentially people that were parents of ours, boyfriends, relatives, friends, people that we trusted that let us down. And somehow that's also being cultivated into our relationships. So I just want to tell you that there is so much power in you just being there. There's so much love in just you. And you don't have to overcompensate for anyone, because the better part of you is just existing, right? So I just wanted to say that. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Good to see you. Let me know where you guys are from. Why do men cheat on a woman that jumps and skips for them? Because that man is not valuing the woman. See, here's the thing. If a man truly valued you, you wouldn't have to jump and skip for him. The fact that you feel like you have to jump and skip is the first problem. Why are you jumping and skipping is another problem. Why do you need to do that? If a man, when you're truly loved for who you are, you're not going to be required to overwork. There's going to be moments, but for the most part, you're going to feel like you can just be loved for you. When a man prioritizes your happiness, he stops the track from you having to go overboard. So my question is, why do you feel like you need to jump and skip for any man? Your opinion on ex spreading lies and rumors about ex-partner. I say let him go, because exes do that. When they feel spiteful, I think it's just a reveal of his character. Anyone that's of reasonable sense will know that if an ex is talking about an ex on bad terms, outside of extremes, and they're just talking and talking and talking, the question is, why are you obsessing over this? Why is this still going on in your head? If things were amicable, then all you need to do is walk away and be done. So my thing is, let them talk what they want to talk. There's nothing you can do about that. But the character of the people around them will be revealed in how they respond to that type of person. Xavier, love from New Jersey. Love, love. Good to see y'all. By the way, everyone who's coming in here, I just released a new course called Navigating the Narcissist for a limited time. It is at the price it's currently at. If you would like to join, I would say go ahead, click the link in my bio and join today, because I have a group that has started in this, and we talk about how to navigate all of this stuff. It's a group. There's a page available. You ask all the questions. I give you all the deep, dark answers. I even talk about how I was manipulative. If you want to know the secrets behind why I thought that way, what it meant, and what you can do, can you change a narcissist? Can you change a manipulator? All of that is in this course. So go ahead and click the link on my bio right now, or send me the DM ready hashtag, and I will get you the course. But it's a limited time at the place that it's at. So make sure you go ahead and get it. South Africa, good to see you, South Africa. New York City and Georgia. Yeah, I'm from New York, and I love Georgia. From Kenya. We got people from the other side of the world in here. How to be there for people without them feeling like they're dragging others down. I mean, we got to lend a hand every now and then, right? Human thing. Yes, but if you overflow from a cup that's empty, then you're not helping them, you're hurting them and yourself. It is not a healthy idea to pour from an empty cup. You need to make sure that your cup is filled. How many times do we give ourselves so much to these jobs, to people, to things, and we haven't taken care of our health mentally, physically, emotionally? So what happens is if you don't care for yourself, no one will. And then you're going to end up in the hospital or you're going to end up in therapy because you didn't take care of yourself. So I'm not saying that's not a good idea. Always be willing to lend a hand, but you have to protect your energy because you only get but so much. That other person has to try to meet you halfway too. It's their job to look at the work that you're doing and say, hey, how can I meet you? If you're doing all the work, that might be something else that's coming into play. It could be a trauma reaction. It could be a fawn response. So we want to be careful not to pour from an empty cup. You have to maintenance yourself. Dated for 3 months and then no talking for a month. Then he contacted me after a month and we get back together. After 6 days, he again blocked me. Is he avoidant? Will he come back? The better question is, why do you keep going for this? If he just randomly gets rid of you, how many times are you going to allow that before you realize that this isn't for you? Whether he's an avoidant or not, how is that going to help you? If I sit here and say, oh yeah, he's an avoidant, do you want to hear how to, I think you're trying to look for a change, right? So maybe, but let me ask you something. You've been being yourself. In order to overcome an avoidant, you're going to have to not be yourself. So the bigger question is, to keep this man on the hook, are you willing to lose yourself? Because that's what's going to be required. I can give you those answers. I can tell you how to put on behaviors that don't come authentically to you, that may or may not keep him around, but that I've seen work before. But if you say, Xavier, I want to be authentic, I want to be me, then maybe you need to look at the details and say, is this a man that aligns with you when you're just being you? Hi from Philippines. Love starting my morning with this. That's so crazy. It's morning in the Philippines. Hello, Philippines. I sound like a DJ, you know? Hello, Philippines. It is 8:35 a.m. My ex broke up with me and got into a relationship with someone else, then called me from her phone and abused me verbally. I really trusted him. I'm sorry that happened to you. Maybe block him and her. Release that man. Do you believe in waiting before marriage? I believe that it is useful for some people. Yes, I think everybody has their own way, but I do believe that that could be a very useful route, because when you keep intimacy to that level off the table, there's definitely certain things that don't become as confusing. You know, your discernment is pretty high. Chemicals don't enter the picture, you know, and I think that it can be very useful. If both of you find value in that and you think that's a clear way for you to get to marriage, I say do it. You know, I do find value in that method. Yes, I do. Your opinion on dating a man going through a messy divorce. They no longer live together. They have 2 kids and custody divorce is getting pretty nasty. So my opinion is, just because as long as the papers are filed, that's the only way you could get me to even think about entertaining something, right? I don't believe in separated or anything like that. If the papers are filed and the person isn't still emotionally connected to that person, then I would say that might be a good shot, right? I don't know for sure. But if you're gonna have a good shot with a person who's going through a divorce, I would say papers gotta be signed and no sign of emotional connection. Like, they don't say they missed them, they're not gazing at pictures. Because, you know, sometimes people go through a divorce and there's still something about that person that they want, right? So if they're still into them and they haven't gotten over it, that could be a red flag, you know, so just be careful. But also, you're gonna have to be careful about, if it is messy, there's gonna be moments of highs and lows, right? So you wanna make sure that you are willing to weather the storm with them, because they might be going through it a little bit, you know? Why are you talking thrash? A used man? Oh, they're talking to someone else. I was like, what did I say? Kindly shed some light on navigating relationships. I took the course. It was so good. Look at that, y'all. We got someone who took the course and they said it was good. Make sure you go ahead, you get online. The link is in my bio. Get the course, and we have a private group where we support each other and we answer more of these questions. If you have a ton more questions, I give all the details. Everything you're asking here, I have it recorded. What to do, what type of man are you dealing with? What do you need to do about it? What are the details? How to make a man change? How do you know what he's gonna do in the future, whether this is gonna work or not? I answer those questions. I get on it. Thank you so much for your compliment on the course. We just brought it out. It's at a limited time, right? So you're gonna have to get it quick because we don't know how long we're gonna keep it there. We've broken up after 16 years now. He's acting like he's a stranger. We have a 4-year-old. He sees, but has total disregard for me. I need to move on. Well, I think that's what you said is the answer to what you just said here. You need to move on. You know, because if you guys broke up, the person could, you know, get to a point that they're not emotionally connected anymore and they kind of want to move on with their life and just keep it very, you know, formal. And that sucks, you know, because if you love this person, if this was a person that you had a deep, you know, meaningful connection with, that can be hard. But to save yourself, the best thing you can do is find a way to move on emotionally. It doesn't mean that we take away from the good times. The good times are still very, very valid and very much a part of your life and your history. But you deserve to be treated better than someone that looks at you like, hey, you're just formal now, right? There needs to be credit to a person that actually wants you now and that wants to be by your side. My ex and I split on unexplained terms. When he finally checked to tell me he didn't love me anymore, it broke my heart. Then a week later, he said he wanted to try to rekindle things. That is an unstable man, and you got to be really careful of that. Ladies, you got to be really careful of emotionally unstable men because they are not disciplined emotionally. When they say, I love you one week and I don't the week after, I want to be with you, then I don't, that is emotional instability. And a man like that is probably going to try to destroy you because this man is not centered within himself. He needs to be clear on what he wants and not just shifting all over the place just because the wind blew this way. That is going to be a waste of time, and I would be very cautious about men like that. Xavier, your posts have opened my eyes into leaving the narcissist. Thanks. Hello from Mexico. 100%. I love you, and I appreciate you for saying those words. Because that's what I'm here for. I want you all to be in wonderful relationships. I want you all inviting me to your weddings. I want you to invite me to your wedding, to your relationships. I want to be there, right? But we gotta work together here because the dating field is insane, but we're gonna do it. Things were good for 3 weeks. Then he blocked me on everything, especially when I asked him to start paying me back from something I helped him with. Now someone is sending me screenshots of things. Oh, then that's done, right? If he blocked you, then I would look at that money. Hopefully it's not too much money, but I would just let that money go and I would never talk to that person again. Because if you think that you can just come into my life, but here's the thing. When you say good for 3 weeks, what does that mean? Like, I want to back up a little bit. Were you guys just dating for 3 weeks or were you in a relationship for 3 weeks? Because if you're just dating and it's that early in the dating phase, I would say 3 weeks is still pretty early for someone to just drop it, you know, which sucks. But 3 weeks into meeting someone, I would say isn't stable enough or consistent enough to gather enough data to say who this person is. That's why you want to be careful in the early stages. From New York, where men are little boys and want women to take care of them. You gotta trust me. There are a good amount of men that want to take care of women. You know, there are a good amount of men that want to take care of you, that want to look after you. But what happens is you have to align with them energetically, right? It has to align energetically, or that's the way to find these guys. Because I'm telling you, they're out here. I meet them all the time. My ex and I got back together after 4 breakups. 4? He broke up because he didn't want me to have male friends. Why am I still love even though he treats me weird every day other time? Well, there might be something deeper going on because the fact that you went through 4 breakups and you keep letting him back into your life speaks to something else. Maybe it's not even him that you're in love with. Maybe there's something in you that needs to be challenged. Because when we let people back into our lives that keep leaving us and keep damaging us, after a period of time, we have to ask, what's happening internally? What's going on with my nervous system? And why do I feel drawn to this type of connection, even though it's hurting me long term? Because the longer you're in this, the more it's going to take away from you. So I would say for those of you that are struggling with stuff like this, make sure you get my course. Make sure you click the link in my bio, or you send me a hashtag word ready in my DM, and you get the course, and it will send you a link to a membership group where you can be a part of a group that support each other. He did align with me until he left. Okay, well then maybe he aligned with you and then he didn't. But how much time really matters though? Because yeah, I don't know how much time you spent with it. I don't remember which one you were. So my husband cheated me for 2 years with the same person, and then he told me and wanted to get back. Left kids for whatever. Thoughts on this, please? Sounds like you might want him back. Because if you haven't left already, it sounds like you possibly want to forgive him. So here's what I would say. Cheating on you consistently for 2 years, what's going on there? You know what I mean? Have you guys considered going to couples therapy? You might want to join the group. I would say that you got to join the group. Let's get some more insight. That's going to take a little bit more. Thank you for the content. It's so refreshing to see a man who's so emotionally intelligent. Thank you so much. And I have to say, I am sorry that you are not experiencing this more from other men. You know, I don't like being the unique one in the pond. Let's get more of that going, you know, for more people. Are you married? Do you give advice for married people? I'm not married, but I if you want to, I do give advice for married people. I was actually trained on marriages when I first started this career. My original training was for marriages because I love marriage. And yes, I have helped several married couples actually get back together, and they're still going strong now, right? So I have a lot of experience with helping marriages. Please just let them go. They are toxic. Okay. He text message, he loved me, missed me all day until he went with her out of state. Didn't get home till late. I was mad, told him to leave, and we went to bed. Well, I mean, he told you he loved you and then went with another girl. That means he doesn't love you. He can't love you. A person that loves you prioritizes how you feel and what you need. So this is not love. This is just somebody using words. That's like me saying, hey, I'm going to give you a sandwich, and then I don't do it. I go eat it myself and walk away. Am I telling the truth about what I said? Did I give you the sandwich? So love, think of it in terms of an action word and more of a verb. It's through actions. If he said one thing and did the opposite, he doesn't love you. But if you still hang on to those words, then we have to ask, why are you still holding on to words over actions? Do you think that you are worthy of receiving the actions? Do you think that you deserve the actions over the words? How to resolve past feelings when the person died for me, not literally. I'd have to hear more detail. I don't know what that means. Co-parenting with an abusive narcissist. How do you define, like, what abusive is happening to you? How to overcome anxious attachment. How to be secure in yourself and not overly dependent on your partner. You're going to have to build it. Right? Security in yourself doesn't just fall out of the sky, unfortunately. I have a history of being very anxiously attached, and now I am way more secure, right? So the way to do that is by micro behaviors. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of little behaviors to add up to big ones. And we'd have to figure out what that is in you. If I were you, I would get a copy of my course. I will soon be adding how to become secure attached in there. So you're going to want to make sure you get a hold of that. Do you believe in karmic cycles? Yeah, I do believe that people will reap what they sow. I do believe that people will pay whether good or bad is, I believe that people receive consequences for every decision that they make, big or small. I do believe that consequences are a real thing. And I guess if we, bubble that up the chain, it can sound like a karmic cycle, right? But I do believe in that. Void and anxiously attached, both working through this separately. But with 4 years of infected history, how do I know what is love and what is a trauma bond? Well, that's got to have a lot of detail, right? We need a lot of detail in that. I would say get a hold of my course. Everybody who's on here, for the new people that are on here, make sure you get the new course, Navigating the Narcissist. I talk about how to navigate, let me see. I talk about how to navigate not only a narcissistic pattern and manipulative patterns, but I teach you how to also look at that within yourself so that you know how to act in certain situations and you know what to do. And you also get a group membership for free with that. Why does a person decide to ghost a person they claim they loved instead of talking through it? Because they didn't love them. A person who loves you talks through it. They work through things. Xavier, I got pregnant by a man within a couple months of knowing him, but can't seem to stop grieving the life I thought I was going to have with my ex, who I had a very toxic relationship with. That's because there's more to work through there, right? And I'm sorry. Congrats on being pregnant, because that's not always easy for people. But I would also say that there's still so much to probably work through about your past that you're probably going to want to work through at an expedited rate now. You know what I mean? Because if you're pregnant and still holding on to the past, if you're starting a new relationship with this person, you're going to want to talk about that. I just don't understand how they can do this. How can they turn inhuman overnight? So humans are not that simple, right? It's not that they turned inhuman and that they all of a sudden loved you when they didn't. A lot of people don't know how to attach how they feel to what they actually want. So and a lot of people don't even associate how they feel with a reality. People will say, I love you when they just want to sleep with you. Some people will say they love you when they just like the hug that they had. Some people will say they love you and they don't want to do anything for you. We give too much power to the word love. And then we also associate it with our idea of love. And then that's when we get really twisted up. We look at people from a lens of our own and say, if this person loves me, then they're going to do what I believe is a certain way to love. And then when they don't follow through and they don't do the same things we would do, then we think they're inhuman. We think that they're the worst people ever. But that's the thing, is that a lot of us process emotions differently and we act on emotions differently. So what we should do instead is look at how the person acts. That's going to tell you more about a person than anything. It does hurt and it sucks, especially when we thought that we were on the same page energetically, but we might have given them too much credit. How do we learn to trust again after coming out of a marriage that ended him cheating? We were married for 13 years. I would say join a group like mine, right? I would say get the course and join a group like mine where we can talk about stuff like this, where we can vent and we can band together and we can talk through this. I would say that. Just got here. Hi from Canada. Hi, Canada. Responding to you, we were together for 8 months before we split. When he came back and said, try to rekindle, that's when it was just good for 3 weeks. Oh, okay, so you guys were together 8 months before the 3 weeks. Now someone is sending me pics of his posts. Well, what is he saying in the post? I feel like yours comes in like layers. Like I have to kind of unravel it a little bit. How do you have the exclusive conversation? I'm 99% sure he isn't seeing anyone else, but how do I get too official? Tell him that you can't keep being intimate and romantic unless you're exclusive. You don't have to tell him what to do, but you can tell him what you won't do. That's called a healthy boundary. If I say, hey, I really like spending time with you. I really like, the way this is going and the way it feels. However, my feelings are getting a little bit caught up. And I just want to know, and I can't keep doing this unless you are ready to be exclusive. I don't want to push you. I don't want to force you to do anything. However, I hope that you respect that my standard is that for me to continue indulging in something where my feelings are going to get involved and invested, I need to know that there's security. So, not trying to stop you from living your life. I'm just letting you where I stand. That's it. Honestly, ladies, what is even wrong with you? You have zero respect for yourselves. That's so embarrassing. So here's what I would say. That is very insulting, right? Because it's not that they don't have respect for themselves. A lot of ladies in here, and I'm not coming at you, right? I'm just saying a lot of ladies in here have respect for themselves. A lot of ladies do love themselves. And that's been the narrative that women keep facing every time they make a decision that hurts, right? We all make decisions that don't work out as we thought it was, but that we shouldn't be telling women that they don't love themselves and they don't respect themselves. They very much do. They take care of themselves, they take care of their families, they secure a job, they secure a lifestyle. They are respecting and loving themselves. They're trying to understand why the love that they give isn't being reciprocated. So what needs to happen is we need to figure out how they've been conditioned and what they've been told is good. Because what happens is a lot of people, women especially, have been told that love is something that it's not. And we're getting caught up because what we think isn't what's happening to us, and we need to just clear that up. So that's what I would say. It's not that they don't have respect. It's that they're not. A lot of people are trying to figure out why this pattern isn't working correctly, right? 2.5 years, loved me all day through text, missed me, couldn't wait to see me, decided with a friend, never answered his phone, no text for 4 or 5 hours. Okay, so we're gonna have to talk more because I feel like I'm getting lost in the story a little bit. Even though he has blocked me, so I don't get why they're sending me these pics when I haven't been in contact with him for a month now. Because he wants you to still want him. When someone blocks you or stops talking to you, out of nowhere they're sending you pictures, whether text, Snapchat, whatever, is because they still want your attention. And they're hoping that you can pretty much build up their ego. They want to know that you're still an option, especially if they're having a bad day. So it's just for an ego boost. Because if they wanted you, they would just tell you. Yeah, we have 2 kids and 3 and 6. Sorry if I get lost in you guys' stories on here. We have been since high school, and his excuse is drugs, alcohol, and new experiences. Hey, that might not be a lie, right? If he's getting introduced to all these substances and stuff that makes him feel like he wants to be outside, then that's his own individual choice. And you having your own individual choice to separate from that type of person, right? People, no matter how many people, how long no matter how long we've been with someone, there's always a chance that they can make a left turn. And if they want to do that, that's their right. That's their God-given right. However, we can save ourselves, right? We can say, I don't want to be a part of this and move on. It hurts, but sometimes it's what we have to do. Like Saint Xavier. Comment on your best friend's relationship. At first, I was like, who is that? How do you know my best friend? So, the young lady that just commented here that said that, and I'm going to expose you, girl. She is the wife of my best friend for over, gosh, how many years now? I don't even know. Probably 16, 17 years. My best friend. He is married. He found a wonderful woman. I got the privilege to speak at their wedding as the best man. I gave a great speech. You should have been there. It was huge. I'm playing. Don't roast me. But yeah, he has a great marriage, and I'm just so happy for them. They are definitely goals, right? And they are such a loving, happy couple. They make it work. And a lot of my friends now are actually married, and doing great in their marriages. So I'm proud of my friends, and I'm proud to be friends with them, So good influences on me. What do you mean by micro behaviors? That's going to be a long talk to explain that. I would say get the course. Everybody on here, like I'm going to repeat it again. Make sure you're going to the link in my bio and you're purchasing the course. I'm looking right now to see who's getting it because not only does it have information on all of this broken down into way, way smaller, but it also gives you a link to a membership group where you're going to receive a lot more value like this one that I don't say online. I talk about how I was a manipulator. I break down what I did, why I did it. I give you the dark, crazy details. So if you want to see that, hey, I'm pretty much putting myself out there. So where's the line between privacy, secrets, and building trust with your partner? Whatever you agree on. Whatever you agree on is the line. Right? Because what you do in your relationship is between all of you. That is not between anyone else. Whatever you guys decide is privacy and that's standard, that's what you decide. It's a construct between just the two of you. I feel bad for wanting the person who did me wrong to get it back. Well, it's understandable that you feel that way. I don't think you should feel bad for having a human emotion. It's what you do about it that matters. But if you're having a human emotion, it's okay. You have a right to have that, right? And sometimes we can't control that. But as long as you're not doing anything, you're in the clear. After 5 years together, he just left to work and never came back. How do you get over abandonment without closure? I'm afraid to date again. Join the group. Go, click the link in the bio, get to the course and let's work on it. Because that's gonna be a long answer. Well, people don't know what I've been through and everything's not an opportunity. I'm not looking for to sleep with. I'm not looking for a partner. Okay? Why are you telling me that? How do you tell they are doing the work? He says he's working on himself. He's reading books on attachment therapy, unconfirmed. I mean, you'll see it in the behaviors, right? How many times is he reactive or responding? How many times is he regulated or losing his temper? You can't really know if the work is even working. There's some people who go to therapy for years and they still are the same. So what matters is how much evidence are you getting? Evidence. Put in one message, sorry for the confusion. No, I would say for you, join the group, right? Go ahead, click the link in the bio, get the course, and then it'll send you a link to join the group. Or you can send me a DM and I'll get you the course myself. My boyfriend got laid off last year and has slowly been pushing the people that love him the most away. He has recently been verbally abusive to me. Is it time to leave? I don't know. That one I don't know. See, I gotta understand what's happening between you guys. I would say for that, click the link in the bio and get the course. A lot of these questions are answered in the course. Why do you think dating is so difficult nowadays? Why is cheating so normalized? I think cheating has always happened. I think that people are just being more open about it. I think that people feel more confident to speak their truth nowadays because of just the way times are. I think we're in a little bit more of a truth era where people are just telling you who they are. I think dating is difficult because a lot of people are scared. I think a lot of people are scared. And they don't know what to do. They don't know who to go to. A lot of people have been hurt. A lot of people have heard about other people getting hurt. And they're trying their best to navigate. And they're trying to use social media. And social media is only making it worse. So I think that there's a lot of confusion and hurt and fear and a little bit of selfishness, right? So those things are making dating hard. But I think dating has also, in that regard, become a little bit easier because people that are corrupted are becoming a little bit easier to spot because now they're not trying to put on as much as they used to. So that's where it could benefit you. What's going on, Brooke? What's going on, girl? Good to see you. It's been a while. But like I said, for those of you that are getting on, I swear I put it in here. Why is my comment not even coming up, yo? Hold on. God, this is the worst. My comment isn't even coming up. This is glitchy software, man. I'll just pin this one. He turned to drugs recently, so I don't know if it's that, depression, etc. Well, it's his choice, right? He turned to drugs by choice. So whether it's that or depression, it's a choice, right? Because if he turned to drugs, now here's the thing, if he's depressed, that could be clinical, but you also are responsible for going to a therapist or going to the doctor to figure out how to maintenance this. Because if you're conscious enough to realize it, then you're conscious enough to take action, right? And it's to make sure that your life is quality and the others around you. It's your responsibility to take care of that. I was raised to not throw in the towel when things got rough, but I also know I need to respect myself too. 8 years together. I mean, yeah, you don't have to throw in the towel, but at the end of the day, if you're the only person lifting the couch and you need two people to lift it, then you're not throwing in the towel if you put it down. You're respecting yourself. You see what I'm saying? That's out of respect for yourself and your time. So you can't really help someone that doesn't help themselves all the time. Sometimes you can do it, but they need to meet you there. They need to meet you halfway. Your comment is pinned. Thank you. Yeah, I just pinned it. But I had to get the one that I did when I first came in. It won't let me type any new ones. It's like, you can't spam us. You can't spam us, bro. May I ask, what was the turning point for you? Did you always know, or was it an oh crap moment? You're going to have to go to the course to find that out. I talk about how I was a manipulator. I had narcissistic behaviors. I had it all. You would have thought I was a narcissist. That's why I know so much about manipulation, because I've done a lot of this manipulation stuff. And I became aware, and I am no more like that. But there was a lot of stuff that I remember from it, and I can see in other guys and other people. So if you want to know, you got to get the course. You said you used to be a manipulator. Yes. What made you change? How did you notice you were wrong? How did I notice I was wrong? You got to go to the course for that. But in short, I would tell you, I always knew I was wrong. Now, how I was convinced to change is another story. But yeah, I always knew I was wrong. Manipulators know when they're wrong. They know. They always know. Whether they care or not is another story. There were thoughts that I'll put it to you this way. Even when I knew I was wrong, there were thoughts that I had that got me over it. There were thoughts and patterns that made me get past it. So finding out what that is, you'll have to find out in the course, where I talk about it for almost 30 minutes to an hour about everything that I did. You're going to find out firsthand. How did I become so good at this? How did I know so much about manipulators? Because I was one. And I don't say that with pride. I say that with, hey, learn from me. Hola, hola. Good to see you. Yeah, we are rolling today, answering questions. So what else you guys got? I'm gonna look on to see who is getting the course so I can make sure you guys are getting through. Like I said, if you want to know more information, if you want to know some deep, dark information about me, go ahead and get the course. And you get to know what to do. If you're in a manipulative or toxic or a narcissistic situation and you want to know what to do, click the link in the bio and get you the course. How about we'll never run into another? Well, you got to make sure you have the tools, right, to make sure that you can navigate that better. Why would my ex reach out to me every 3 months? Uh, why not? You know, if you're still in reaching distance, and I want to keep making sure that we're on good terms, I'm gonna reach out. Does anything really bother these types of people? Yes, a lot bothers them. I talk about that in the course. How to deal with narcissistic ex you shared a child with. That's person to person. Deal with a narcissist as far as co-parenting. You're gonna have to look at the course for that too. These are big questions. Y'all want to know? Y'all are co-parenting with narcissists. You're gonna have to figure out how to get into their mind. That's all in the course. Yeah, because it would take me probably like an hour to explain it here. Yeah, co-parenting with them, it really does depend, right? There's so much to that. It's like, what's the best way to revenge on a manipulator? It depends. Sometimes you can't, you know? Sometimes you can't. And it depends on what type of manipulator they are, because there are different types. Are they just projecting about themselves all the time as I see they thrive for reactions? Sometimes, yeah. I would say sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes they just want something and they use the reaction method to get what they want. Sometimes it's about getting what I want from you. When you don't give it to me, I use reaction and reactive situations to get it from you. That's got to be tiring. They don't know the difference. A lot of them don't know the difference. So if I've been using this method and this is all I know and this is all I use, it doesn't feel tiring to me. Make sure we don't get manipulated. You get my course. That's the best way. You watch that course. It's gonna walk you all the way through it. I literally talk from beginning, like how I discovered my manipulation, right? When I noticed it, what people told me, what I experienced, what I thought during the situations. When you go into that course, you're going to hear everything. Because I could tell you here, but it's not going to be enough. I want to give you more value. That's already. But is this learned behavior or born? I think your focus is more in tune with women's reality. Yes, it is. So behavior or born. So here's the thing. I don't think anyone. I would say it's, and maybe I don't know this for sure, but I don't think, I think it's difficult to say someone is born away for the most part. I think that as babies, we have, and children, we have experiences that shape us. I think it's more nature versus nurture. You know, our houses, our surroundings, I think condition us in a way to look and think and feel a certain way. And if we don't have a lot of healthy tools in our tool belt, then we won't do it the right way. Now the question is, are we going to unlearn that stuff? So I think that it's a product of conditioning, right? So I think it is a learned, I think a lot of it is a learned behavior over time. And learn doesn't just mean someone taught it to them. It's also could be what they got away with. Men need to warn women about the average two bad men, not the good stellar few. Oh yeah, that's what I do. You know, I think that we have to trust each other, you know, as genders as well. Like if a group of men say that this man is a bad man, and as a woman, you know, you don't feel that way, that's okay. But, you know, it would be something to take on, right? Because why would all of these guys say the same thing, right? So, because I think there's been times that happens too. Like some people do get warned, but then they choose, they don't want to, you know, take that because they love their person, which is understandable. So you're saying narcissistic are transactional? Um, Not always. Not always. It's not always purely for gain. You know, sometimes it's for, there could be so many reasons, right? Sometimes they think that they're doing it out of love. Sometimes they think they're doing it for transactional behaviors. It's sometimes they're doing it for comfort. There's so many different variables to why they could be doing something, but the way to tell which one it is, it largely is based on what details you know and that you spot. You'll be able to spot it. But like I said, if you want to know that, that'll be in the course. Come on, more questions. Let's keep the energy hot. Do narcissists really use people? Yes, of course. They have to, because people who are guys who are narcissistic, or people who are narcissistic, normally have very low self-esteem and very low, I don't know, security, insecure. So insecure, low self-esteem in a lot of cases, you got to use people to fill in the blank. So yes, they do use people. And when that person isn't willing to be used, then it's a nightmare. Because now it's like, okay, what are we doing? So yes, they do use people. Can narcissists love? Yes. Yes, it can. Maybe not in the same way you do, but they do. See, that's the thing, is love in general comes to people differently. It is not the same for everybody. So it's important to know what someone else's idea of love is. And you won't know that unless you look at their actions. Let's see. How do narcissists get their karma? They That's a good question. They get it through the amount of unsuccessful moments that they get. Nothing is sustainable. That's where they get their karma. Everything always feels like it's going to fall apart. It's never going to work. It's unsustainable. Right, y'all. More questions. If you have more questions about relationships and stuff like that, or you want to get into my private group, let me know. What you said is you have to observe their actions, not just listen to their words. Yes, that's correct. Gene, haven't you been in my group? If someone thinks they're always right and have a hard time apologizing, does that make them a narcissist? No, that could just make them stubborn. Not everybody who acts like a narcissist is a narcissist. I acted like a narcissist years ago, but I'm not a narcissist. How much is the private group? Well, it's the course, right? So you get the course and the private group. And right now, it's limited time. It's about $27. And that's it. You just pay the upfront, and then you're good. Want more of the group, though. What type of narcissists are lazy? As I know, there are 8 different types. I don't think that there's one type that's more lazier than the other. I think that laziness is just a quality that anyone who chooses to have it has, right? I would say laziness can come in different forms as well. What are they lazy with? But I think that all of them have the capability of being lazy. I think that's just more of a human trait than a narcissist. Yep. So, like I said, if you're looking for more answers to what goes on in a narcissist's mind, how I was a manipulator, how I got to this point to where I am today, where I'm able to coach thousands of people and get them through it. I've helped a lot of people get into beautiful relationships, become happy couples, and heal from a lot of this, all the narcissism that they've been through into healthy relationships. If you want to know how I did that, all you got to do is go ahead and get the course. You can send me a DM with the hashtag word ready or click the link in my bio and go straight to it. Did you realize this on your own? Did friends or family hint that you were a manipulator? I found this out through a counselor. There was a licensed marriage counselor that actually was a friend of mine and revealed it to me. But I would say I was told a lot. I was told a lot by women I dated, and I was told by women, a lot of women I dated and that I tried to be in relationships with told me. But I didn't listen. Narcissists really think like toddlers. Emotionally, maybe. So here's the thing. At the end of the day, they're trying to use, manipulators and narcissists, they're trying to use whatever they can to get you to make up for what they lack, right? It's about making up for my self-esteem, making up for the decisions I didn't make. If I lived a life where I didn't make healthy decisions, I'm going to make you now be the slave for it. You're going to be the communicator that I never was. You're going to take accountability where I don't. You're going to take the blame for my bad decisions because I don't want to have to sit in my feelings. Sitting in my feelings is the worst thing ever. And if you're not willing to sit in my feelings for me, then you are the villain. And I'm going to use everything I can to make you feel bad. I'll cheat. I'll yell. I'll become very aggressive. I'll, smear campaign you. And it's because I so badly don't want to appear as the bad guy, but I also don't want to work on myself. Working on myself is the absolute worst thing I could do because then that means I have to go through the pain of healing. I don't want to do that. That sounds like a lot of work when I could just make you do it. So they're just really insecure. Well, not just really insecure, but I would say insecurity is a big part of it. Yes. But there's a lot of things they are. I made one playing his game, then he hit the bottom. Now he is going to therapy and gave me what I was asking for, but manipulate him in a way that I got him in the end what I wanted. Cool. Themselves very selfish. Yep. Selfishness is a big part of it. They love to be selfish because selfishness means that I get my way and you don't. And I don't care about you not getting your way. That's not part of the deal. So a person can cheat and still think they did the right thing. 100%. In fact, they probably think that cheating is the best thing for you guys. Yeah, some people follow that logic. Before you came to your acceptance of being narcissistic, why were you so afraid of facing your internal battles? What was your justification you used to not change? You wouldn't love me if I wasn't this way. That was my justification. You wouldn't love me if I wasn't this way. If I wasn't this crazy lying fool that then you wouldn't love me. So the reality is, for me to have you, I have to stay this way. If I'm not this way, then you wouldn't like me. You would push me around. You wouldn't make me feel like a man. And I have to be crazy in order for you to like me. Because you spent, 6 months with me, a year with me? I'm going to think that you like trying to make me change, that this is fun for you. Like, you love to sit there and go through hell to make me change. And I just keep giving you the same response and you don't leave. Why don't you leave? That's how I used to think. Because manipulators struggle with accountability. What was it the counselor said to you that actually made you take accountability and recognize that? Do you see it as a problem or superpower? What did he say to me? It wasn't just one thing, it was several things. He kept catching me in moments where I was messing up, and then he would kind of manipulate me. But it was like, see, I can't give too much of this away because that's in the course. That's in the course. So for those of you guys are asking some really good questions. I can't reveal it here. You're gonna have to go into the course, link in my bio, break it up and get into it. I give a lot of these answers, but that's a good question. But I would say that I learned through a series of events. I had to keep making certain mistakes and seeing why it wasn't working. And he just happened to be there, so I got very fortunate. Everyone's saying, what made you change? Because y'all want to know what changes us, right? You want to know what changes the manipulator? I put that whole thing in there. I tell you how to change it. You want to know how to change a narcissist? I put it in the course. I swear, I put it in there. I know exactly what to do. You know why? Because I've gotten them to do it. I've gotten so many narcissists to change and manipulators to change. But guess what? I got some bad news. A lot of y'all are not going to like them when they change. You might think you would, but you're not. I've seen that in more cases. I've gotten several women, probably over 100, who got their narcissistic boyfriend to change and do everything they were looking for, and they hated it. I don't know why. I was like, what? They're like, I don't even want him no more. I'm like, bruv, what happened? Can they actually love? In their own way. Are narcissists jealous of the person they're with? Is that why they treat them like, sometimes, yeah, sometimes they can be very jealous of you. Sometimes they'll date you because they're jealous of you. They're like, first they're like, yo, I want a woman that is strong, sophisticated, and smart in my life. And then the second they get you in their life, they're like, man, I can't stand the fact that you're so strong and everybody knows it. It's only cool when it's for me. Yeah, they do that. Oh, they do bad things and it's okay because that person is not leaving. That could be the possibility for a lot of them. Yes. So saying that you wouldn't love me as justification, would that then lead to resentment, knowing that they were loving a false version of you, resulting in you acting out towards them? I didn't think that deep. No, because I thought that was the version of me. I didn't think that was a false version of me. I thought that was the version of me, So, deep down, I knew that there were changes that I could make, and I knew that I could be nicer and better about things, but I just didn't find any value in it. It's what you find value in. Have you relapsed? No, but I still have the thoughts. So I don't act like that now, not even in the slightest. But my initial thought is always manipulator, right? When things aren't going my way or when things don't work out, I think first in a manipulative way, and then I override it with what the right way is. So I still have the thoughts. I think that's going to be there forever. But I know how to override that now. Why are they so evil? That's a loaded question. I don't know why. That could be different for all of them. Can we write a book together? Let me see. You are co-author? We'll see. But like I said, if you want to know more about this information and you want to get deep into what I actually thought throughout the time that I was manipulating someone, you're going to have to go ahead and get the course. I highlight all the actions. I get into the nitty-gritty in there. Believed you to be that person. Okay, thank you. Absolutely. Good morning from Australia. Hey, good morning. I feel like they're evil people because they're projecting how they feel about themselves. Fair. I love your content. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'll keep posting. How does seeing someone in pain because of you makes you feel? It hurts. Like I said, I'm not a narcissist. So I have a lot of empathy. But I just used to manipulate like I was, But it does hurt me. It hurts me to see people hurt because of me. A lot. I hate that. That's terrible, But back then, I was a different person, And I thought this was justified. You used to manipulate people? Yes. That's how I became. That's one of the reasons why I'm so good at knowing this. I was one of them. Snippet on how to handle gaslighting. Man, y'all just want the whole meal tonight. That's a good question, man. It depends. It depends on the type of gaslighting. Do you believe some narcissistic can change their ways? Yes. I believe all of them can change their ways. I've seen it. I've seen it happen multiple times. I've gotten them to do it. And if you want to know how, that's in the course. I list how to do it. I give you the steps, but you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. What kind you stayed away from? What are you talking about? What you mean what kind I stayed away from? Hope you have a great evening. Thank you for your efforts and transparency and your blessing for the woman who needed it. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Academy. That's understandable. How do you encourage them to see someone for help, guidance, or make it seem like their idea? That's a big question. It would take me a long time to answer it. I would say but that's in the course. All this is in the course. Who wants to talk to me through Zoom? Live right here. Who wants to talk to me? I admit I am not perfect because I see my wrongs and correct it. Hey, at the end of the day, all wrongs are opportunities, right? It's all an opportunity. So, but if you see it, you notice it, and you take steps to correct it, that is a big deal. You want to jump on, Lee? You want to jump on? What story you got for me? You got a situation? A guy I went on a date with is trying to make me jealous by sending me videos of women at bars. Is this weird? I feel as if it is. Would you want your husband to send you videos of women at bars? That's the way to figure out. Would your husband do this? When you can look at a man and say, my husband would never, he lives in Dubai. So what does that mean? She said, hell no. Who wants to get on Zoom with me? You got a story? You got a relationship problem? I'll send you a link. Take hours to dissect. Yeah, if it takes long, we can find another route. You might just need to meet with me one-on-one. Good men are difficult to find in England, though. I'm 29, no children. It's rough out here. I understand that. Well, where are you going to find the men? So, yeah, who wants to jump on Zoom? Do a live call right here. I got the Zoomies today. I live in a tiny village in England. The average age out here is 60 plus. Well, that's the problem. How do we get a one-on-one meeting? You send me a DM. I've been married for 16 years. The past almost 6 years have been very difficult due to his refusal to be honest, and his need to preserve his reputation. So what are you going to do? Yeah, if you're just using dating apps, that's where you can run into a lot of problems with that, because dating apps don't always have, you know, not everybody who uses dating apps is ready to date. Some people are just looking for attention. Some people just want validation. Some people are not social. Like, it's dating apps can be a little tricky, But hey, they still work sometimes. But if you're going to use dating apps, just be careful to use the higher quality ones. What to do with those people who lie about being married? Let them go. If you start a relationship on a lie, how you get them is how you lose them. Hey there from Spain. Thank you first. Thank you for the support of us. Need to go to sleep. Okay. When is the course? The course is already up. For those that you don't know, the course is already up. It's up for a limited time. If you go to link in my bio, it's up. You can get a review. There are reviews on the page. Go click on the link on the bio now and go get it. Trust me, just go to the page and it'll walk you through everything. Is it manipulation or narcissistic if they tell you you're the problem, but there's no problem in all other areas of their life? I don't know. I think it depends on the situation. I don't want to answer that straight up because I probably need more detail about the why. Why are they saying that? I've been watching your videos and haven't dated in 5 years. The trauma is bad, but thank you for your videos. We've opened my eyes to see what I was going through back then with the narcissist. I'm glad to hear that. I'm 37 years old, and every time I think of dating, I see Battlefield. Most relationships are wild. It makes me feel good being single. Absolutely. Society is declining rapidly because of dating apps. Yeah, and social media. Anybody new want to jump on a Zoom? Like I said, the course is up now. Right now, it's at a low price for a limited amount of time, where you can go and you can see what I did when I manipulated people, right? You can see it. Click the link in the bio or send me a DM, or you put it in the comments. Put ready in the comments if you want me to send you the course personally, and I will send it to you, but you got to get it while it's hot. Damn it. Most men I go on dates would think I'm too intense because my life goal is to have a family. Then those are not the right men for you. Because let me tell you, a man who's ready to have a family, who's ready for a future, is not going to be scared by that. There's too many people out here playing around, figuring it out. It's refreshing to meet someone that knows what they want. Most men I go on dates with think, how do you tell? But that's 90% of men on dating apps. They're a waste of time. You got to find the 10% then. How do you tell if he's a narcissist or self-absorbed or just confident and proud of what they accomplish? I feel all those are narcissistic men. Well, a person who's confident will also care about you and care about other people and be considerate. They're self-sacrificing. They're humble. They are noble. They have good intentions, right? But when you don't care about how you make someone feel and you hurt people and you use people and you lie to people, then that's more on the verge of manipulation, more narcissistic behaviors. So I hope that makes sense. Being confident in yourself is a great thing, but hurting others is where that doesn't sound like confidence to me. That sounds like someone who doesn't care about other people. Yeah, so like I said, if you want to know how I was manipulative, why I did what I did, and what my deepest, darkest thoughts was, and you want to know how to change a narcissist, like what it takes to actually change one, go ahead and click on the link in the bio, and or type "ready" in the comments, and I will send you a link to my course for a limited time. How do I get my husband to understand staying on a single topic is essential to resolve conflict? That deflection and blame shifting is destructive. You're gonna have to get the course. That's a big one. But you're gonna have to move the situation emotionally. You know, you're gonna have to be the emotional leader in that situation. You're gonna have to let him get it out, and you're gonna have to ground it. What about those who are afraid of conflicts or call it, or thought conversation, huh? Or call thought conversations conflict? Sounds like they're just keeping you out of talking about real things. The birth rate where I live is less than 2% in the UK. We have a crisis. 50% of women age 30 plus have no children. What's happening to men? I think, yes, in the UK and in the US, there is a large shift in men and women now, right? Women being more educated, and men feeling like they're not heads of households and feeling emasculated. I think there's a lot of people who are not feeling appreciated, understood, and valued. And because of that, it's causing fear-based maneuvers, and it's causing people to not want to date or get married anymore. You know, people have experienced a lot of heartache, and it's changing the nature of dating. But there's still a chance. There's still good people out here. Why do married men get into a relationship? The response is, I have a big heart. What? They're lying. How can you become a narcissist? I don't think you become one like that. I think you can be narcissistic. I think that you just need to manipulate people for your own personal gain and never be accountable. What if I've led in all aspects of our 30-year marriage? I feel like the therapist at this point. Well, also, you're stepping into a role that you don't like, probably, right? If you led and you've been a therapist, then you probably acted on a role that doesn't come naturally to you, that you don't like, that you don't want to be. And what's going to happen is the relationship is going to shift in the direction of what you do. So if you become the therapist, now you're always going to be the therapist. That's why it's not always healthy to be a role that you don't like. Because once you start it, they're going to expect you to stay that way. And then you're going to be unhappy with that. You're going to have to stop doing that if you want the relationship to rebalance itself. Who wants to get on Zoom and talk to me? Are you feeling chatty? Do you want to talk about your situation? I'm not sure what I'm going to do, honestly. If he's more worried about the opinions of others, and he's already showed me where I stand, I'm sure that's something. I'm not sure that's something that can be fixed. Well, how do you know it's broken? You know, sometimes we use the words like fix, like something's broken. This man might be just fine with who he is. You're not. So it doesn't need fixing because it's okay. Every narcissist I have met has childhood trauma where they were made to feel inferior. Okay, but here's another take. Sometimes they're just using that as an excuse. Sometimes they're just lying to you so that they can be jerks. Not every single person that's manipulative went through some trauma, and that's the reason for it. Sometimes they're just jerks. And I'm gonna tell all of y'all that here. We gotta stop giving passes to everyone that's a jerk. I feel like we do that a lot in society. Like we say, oh, they're like this because of their past, or they're like this because of trauma. No, I'm not saying that isn't true. For a lot of people, that is true. But for some people, that's not true. They're just using that as a way to justify their bad behaviors. I did the same thing. I would justify my bad behaviors all the time because of stuff that I was going through, but it was just an excuse. Why do you think about borderline personality disorder and narcissists? I think those are two different things, right? People with BPD is a little bit of a different equation than narcissist. BPD can be very, very harmful. How do I stop questioning it? I don't know. I'd have to figure out why you're questioning it in the first place. He has cheated on multiple partner, and he is blaming me that I was the one who cheated when I didn't. He always said, I have many male friends, so I tried, or I can't let it go. Okay, what do you want me to say about that? The narcissist actually realize they are one? Is it ignorance, or they really don't see it? I would say they see that they're doing bad things, but they might not believe that they're a narcissist. But they do know that they're doing bad things. They know that. It's difficult because Christianity teaches us empathy. Christianity also tells you to pay attention to the fruit. Christianity tells you, look at what they do and not what they say. That's in the Bible. So if you're having empathy, all empathy is understanding a person outside of yourself, right? That's all you're doing. When you start to act on behaviors that make your cup run empty and you get pain, that's not what Christianity is telling you to do. So I'm with you, but I read the Bible, I read the Quran, and a lot of people will tell me this because a lot of people who believe in religion will tell me, well, Xavier, as a Christian, we're supposed to. And I'm like, yeah, but you're also supposed to have discernment. You're also supposed to make sure that you're making yourself good for people too. So if I'm losing myself trying to love a person, then this person isn't loving themselves and I'm working against them. If you loving another person or trying to empathize with them is actually making them worse, then that's not working. Empathy is supposed to help a person. If they are being even worse because you're around and you guys are indulging in having fun and loving on one another and all this, and then they do bad behaviors and you just keep accepting it, and then you keep telling yourself that, oh, I'm better than this, then that could be considered blasphemy, right? I believe I'm better than this. I believe, that I'm not supposed to be in this, but I'm doing it anyway. That's also called cognitive dissonance. I'm doing something that's different than my beliefs. Cognitive dissonance. And that is what's going to hurt you more than anything. Do all narcissists have bad behavior? Nope. Thank you for that. I've been begging to go to a therapist. It's hard enough to do my own healing and make personal strides. How is the relationship? That's a big question. It depends, because there's so many different types of narcissists, so many different types of people with BPD. I've met them personally. I feel like one couple I had that, and they don't speak for all others. What I have seen is one person had BPD, she had BPD, and she would do self-harm whenever the narcissist would ignore her, right? But I can't say that's universal for all of them. Why do most males run away from good women? Good men don't run away from good women. So if you're a good woman and men are running away, then maybe those men are not good men. So good men do not run away from good women. But at the same time, we have to remember we're not everybody's cup of tea. You might be right. It might be me. I guess it depends on whether you believe. Yeah, because if I say, hey, I'm helping, and it's not that it's inadvertent, right? If I say I'm trying to help someone and I'm using empathy as a way to make them see what needs to happen, then they keep being worse because they keep getting away with hurting me and I keep loving them. At some point, isn't that a little bit of enablement? Oh, can you go more into cognitive dissonance? Yes, absolutely. Cognitive dissonance is when you tell yourself something different from what you're actually doing. what it does is it creates a stress on your nervous system because you are separating yourself by trying to believe something different from what you're doing because you can't cope with your actions. So when you can't cope with your actions, you just tell yourself that what you're doing isn't exactly who you are. But the more that you repeat it, the more you create separation. The more you create separation, the more your nervous system doesn't know what to do. The more your nervous system doesn't know what to do, the more it causes chaos. It raises your cortisol levels. It raises your blood pressure. It actually weakens your immune system, and it makes you a different person from who you are. That's why some people will wake up sometimes and say, I don't even recognize myself. And you become so deep in this pattern that you actually become a worse version of yourself. You go from dating a narcissist occasionally to I can't leave a narcissist because now this is all I know. This is all I'm comfortable with. It becomes an addiction. So this is what I mean. It destroys you internally, externally. Your skin will get messed up. Your hair will fall out. You'll start to gain weight because it's putting too much stress on your system. You gotta be real with yourself. Being in alignment, telling yourself the truth and acting on the truth is gonna be the way to go. So the BPD woman was the chaos. So I think I was like that. Now he literally runs from me. Well, he was the chaos too though. Like it was both of them, right? She did self-harm whenever she didn't hear from him or didn't hear from who she wanted to. And he ended up in jail. So it was like, everybody was just on it, you know? Oof, that was good. Yeah, I got you. But like I said, if you want to know more about this, go ahead and get the course. It is out for a limited time at the price that it's at, and you can get all this information. I tell you how to change a narcissist. I tell you what to do, all of it. What does a real man seek in a woman when he meets the one? Uh, when he meets the one, first he has to be the one. It's not just a one-way street. He doesn't just meet a woman and she's the one and it's not, he has to be ready to be a husband. He's got to be husband material. And then he will meet a woman that is ready to be a wife. So it's a two-way street. But if you meet a lot of men that are not husband material, then it doesn't matter. But what I would say is whatever aligns with him is what's going to matter. What I would say is if both parties are happy people and they prioritize peace and they prioritize functionality and health, I think that they have a good shot. Effort, peace, happiness, and effort, peace, and happiness, and functionality. Are you a husband yet? I am not. I am not. One day I would love that. All right, then, y'all. Well, I will go ahead and get off the live. I think that we spent a good amount of time on here. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Remember, the course is up for a limited time at this price. Make sure you go ahead and get it, and it will give you a membership to the private group where we will talk deeper. But you are going to get all the insights and all the wild information. Let me know if you need any help. Send me a DM if you want to get the course, and we will talk soon. All right, bye, y'all. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We'll talk later.